This is Homework Help 5, due Tuesday 10th of November. Starting with the National 5 side, question 1 asks you to solve. Solve is the key word there. That means we need values for x. So yes, as the question asks, we do have to factorise first. So your first step of working is going to be 2 brackets, and then your final answer will be 2 values for x. On part B, again it's factorising, but with the coefficient of x squared being 2. 2 times negative 10 is negative 20. I want you to list all your factors of negative 20. You can then rewrite your initial equation, 2x squared, but instead of minus x, we're going to select the 2 factors that equal minus 1, and we're going to put them in instead. So we might have 2x squared minus something x plus something x, and then the minus 10 at the end. So you need to work out what those factors are. When multiplied together, we get minus 20. When added together, we get minus 1. You can then split it into 2, find the common factor from the first two terms, and then the common factor from the second 2 terms in order to factorise each of them. And you can then put that into 2 brackets. Once you've got your 2 brackets, find your values for x. For this one, you need to remember BODMAS. Make sure you're doing them in the correct order. So you're going to do the division first, and then at the end you can add your 2 3/4. So remember, to divide, you're firstly going to change 2 1/10 to an improper fraction. So 2 times 10 is 20 plus 1, so 21/10. And you want to divide that by 7 over 16. So remember, when you're dividing, you can change it to a multiplication, 21 over 10, by flipping the second fraction, and then just multiplying 21 times 16, and then 10 times 7. Once you've got that answer, do not forget to then add your 2 3/4 at the end. Question 3, finding an area of a sector of a circle. So the formula for this, as given in class, is area equals n over 360 pi r squared. If you have a sector of a circle, n is the angle. N is the angle. R is obviously the radius. So that's your R there. Question 3, area of a sector of a circle. You need to know area A equals n over 360 pi r squared. If you have a sector of a circle, n is the angle at the centre, and r is obviously the radius. Question 4, simultaneous equations. So to do this one, we've got a plus 2y and a minus 3y, so I'm going to choose to multiply the top equation by 3 and the bottom equation by 2. Once you do that, you'll have new equations 1 and 2, and you're going to do 1 plus 2. The y's will cancel out, so you'll have an equation in terms of x. You can then have x equals. Once you've got that, sub it back into one of your initial equations to find y equals. Question 5, you want to find the equation of the line, so first thing you're going to do is write down y equals mx plus c. M is your gradient, and c is your y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis. That's easy, you can see what c is equal to just by looking at the graph. M you have to work out, so m equals change in y over change in x. Okay, so for example, if you had a line like that, change in y is this distance here, change in x is this distance here. Now, if it was a line like that, sloping up the way, so it's going to be positive. Remember, if it's going down the way, sloping down, it's going to be a negative gradient. Put your values for m and c into the equation, and that will give you your equation in the line. You are then asked to find the value of b at the point 9b. All you're doing here is letting y equal b and x equal 9 and putting them into your equation that you've just made. Moving on to National 4, question 1 asks you to calculate the mean speed. So to do this, you want to add all your numbers together and divide by how many there are. I'll do a really quick example. If you had the numbers 1, 1, 2 and 3, and that was your data, you would add them together and divide by how many there are. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Question 2 asks you to find a fraction of 96, 7/8. So to do this, we divide by the bottom and times by the top. Question 3 tells you that a pair of football boots costs £25.94, and how much would it cost for 6? Very simple multiplication sum. Want to see working for this one? It's a non-calculator, so make sure you write out the sum correctly. Question 4, you're given a triangle and a semicircle attached, and you need to find the area of the whole shape. Area of a semicircle is just half a circle, so it's half pi r squared. Easy enough. Your r, you're not given r, but you are given the diameter. We're shown diameter is 38. Once you've got your radius, you can then work out the area of the semicircle. Your second stage is going to be to work out the area of the triangle. Area of a triangle, half times base times height. We know the base is just the diameter of the circle. Half times diameter of the circle, and the height you will need to work out. So bearing in mind, between the bottom of the semicircle and the bottom of the triangle, so that distance there, that's the radius. You know that all the way down is 57. So you can therefore work out the height of the triangle. Don't finish there. Once you've done that, remember you need the area of the whole thing. So you want the area of the triangle, add the area of the semicircle.